Beer has long been used as a way to quench the thirst on a hot summer day. Belgian farmers, looking for a lighter beer than the heavier, darker, popular beers, created the Belgian farmhouse ale of Saison. Saison Dupont stands as the most iconic of this fleeting beer style. Despite the iconic nature of the beer, is it truly able to quench your summer thirst? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews. The Dupont Brewery out of Tourpest in West Hainaut, Belgium has been around since 1950. Its farmhouse brewery site has an even longer brewing history dating back to 1759. By the late 1980s, Dupont Brewery considered shutting down the production of Saison Dupont completely until demand in the United States led to the international boom for the beer. Recognized as the most prolific Saison, just how satisfying is Saison Dupont? Only one way to find out. Hey guys, yeah, we have the Saison Dupont. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Here with me. And so, let's get started. Like a lot of traditional farmhouse ales, it has this nice cork. Almost feel like you should pop it open with your mouth. Just kind of drink it straight out of the bottle. But we are going to pour it. Now, one thing you'll notice, if you ever go shopping for one of these styles of beers, there's not a lot of these around. It's a very underutilized style of beer. I think a lot of places for the kind of quench or thirst quenchers have gone more of the fruit flavored wheat beer instead of this farmhouse style, which is too bad. It's always nice when places experiment with it. So, alright. The first category for our review is smell. So I'm going to let this sit for just a second as the kind of beer settles a little bit. So while we do that, we might as well just look at the color. But it's the bottle uses even all saisons use a particular kind of yeast inside of the bottle, so it continues to ferment, kind of like a lot of Belgian beers. But that really gives it a very, very light color. I know this isn't something that you can really see on camera, but just watching the carbonation float to the top is rather interesting. But it's a very, very golden color, very cloudy. Of course, you're going to have this continued head. It's getting creamier and foamier as you just kind of let it sit. So, I don't know, maybe I didn't pour it all that well. But, alright, while this is going, we might as well check out the smell. It's got a very aromatic aroma to it. It's really a bouquet of lighter citrus flavor to it. So you have a slight hoppiness with the citrus. And the citrus is almost a combination of lemon zest and orange zest. Outside of that, there's outside of that, there's not a whole lot else. It's pretty crisp, pretty clean. Definitely one of those things where once you catch a whiff of it, you know it's going to be a good one for when it's hot out. So for smell, I'm going to recommend this beer, the Saison Dupont. Alright, let's taste. You get the lemon. It is more lemon than orange for sure. You still have the carbonation building. I mean, it's still going as I'm holding it right now, and you can feel that across your tongue. It's not flat. It's you're almost drinking it in a live beer in your mouth as you go. So that it's really unique, it's really unusual, especially since you don't get a lot of the farmhouse ales anywhere anyways. So it's going to be different from most beers that you've had before. Crisp, it's very crisp. It doesn't have a lot of, there's really very little bitterness. There's a very hint at the end, but not a lot. But yeah, so you got the citrus, you got the there's like a floral bouquet to it too. There's a I'm not sure what the flower scent that I'm getting, but it's very aromatic as you smell, as you taste it. It's not just citrus, it's not just the lemon zest, stuff like that. It's very aromatic like that. And it's almost similar to one of the, like a Trappist beer. Almost. It's definitely sharing some of those characteristics as some of the other Belgian Trappists. But in general, I like it. It's very enjoyable. It's very refreshing. It's something you can just kind of keep in the refrigerator for a hot day and pour it out, and you can share it between a couple friends. Pretty much just like a wine, but it's much more refreshing than a bottle of wine, in my opinion, on a hot day. So for taste, I'm going to recommend it. So category 3 is value for price. And let's see, so I believe this bottle costs, I think it was $12, I believe I paid for it. And I haven't seen it, no actually I take that back, I have seen it in slightly smaller bottles than this, so you can get them smaller I believe. But for the most part, you're generally going to find it in this size. So it's, so you kind of have to weigh it, you're paying $12, you'll have, especially once the head goes down, 3 to 4 glasses of the beer. So, for value for price, it's all right. It's very refreshing. It's a great beer to have on hand. So actually, I'm still going to recommend it for value for price, even though it is higher. There aren't a lot of these kinds of beers out there. It's a great beer. You can let it breathe and it'll settle down a little bit as the head's starting to come down. But for value for price, yes, I'll go ahead and recommend it for that. And now drinkability. Drinkability is, how many of these can I drink at once or in a row? And well, since this is basically the one major size you're going to get it, you have to kind of decide, all right, if I crack this open, am I going to drink the whole thing? Because it's not one of those that you're going to just drink half of it and put it back. It's not wine, so you can't really do it like that. So once you open it, you're kind of stuck with it. Unless you have other people that are going to drink it with you, it's now or never. So it's kind of one of those things, can you drink all of this at once? And honestly, I would have no problem with it. I enjoy it, and it's a nice beer. It's got a nice drinkability level, especially as the temperature starts to rise. It's one of those that you could definitely really get into. So drinkability, yes, I will go for that on drinkability. I recommend it. And now category 5 is distinction, and that's how distinct, how different is it from other beers in the category. And of course, the major problem with that is it's not a very big category. The Saison is very limited. I was actually at the store trying to look for others, and there's a couple. There's a few different spots in the United States that make them, but there's not a lot. You'd be lucky at a giant liquor store to find 10 most. And so there's not a lot to compare it to. You almost have to start to compare it to your wheat beers. Now, this would be a fantastic wheat beer because it's definitely more complex than what a lot of the wheat beers that are coming out now. So, definitely take that into consideration. It has a higher alcohol content than a lot of the wheat beers you're going to find now. I believe it has a 6.5% ABV, so that's higher than a lot of the general wheat beers. But distinction, it almost tastes like the, for anybody that's had Orville beer, it tastes like Orville lighter. It tastes like more of a citrusy flavored Orville than what Orville is. So for that, it is very distinct, and I'm going to recommend it for the distinction, almost simply because there's not a lot to compare it with. And now, final category is would I buy it again? That gets a little tricky. I would buy it again. Yes, I would. I've had this before, so this isn't my first time I've had it, and I do enjoy it. It's probably not something I just keep in stock. That's it for summer days. I don't think I'd want to spend $12 just on bottle after bottle of beer. I'd want to diversify a little bit. But yeah, I would buy it again, and I think it's a good beer if you have a buddy or somebody else over that enjoys the beer, and the two of you can split it. That would be much more desirable. So, with that being said, since I recommend it for every category, this receives the official Two Dudes Reviews stamp of approval. So, if you like your lighter beers, if you like something a little different from just a run-of-the-mill wheat beer, especially as the temperatures start to warm up, and you haven't tried this before, I totally recommend it. It honestly might be the only Saison you're able to find on the market where you're at. There's not a lot out there. If you do find others, check them out. I'd recommend it. And if you know any other farmhouse ales that you like and you think I should try, I'd love to know. Please put them in the comments. That'd be fantastic. Because I'm always looking out for others like this, and it's just kind of hard to come by. So let me know what you think of the review. Please subscribe to our station. We'd love to have you. Please check out our podcast at Two Dudes in a Six Pack. It's on iTunes and Stitcher and stuff like that. You can follow us on Twitter at Two Dudes in a Six Pack. But for now, I will be enjoying the rest of my Saison, and talk to you later.